All right, y'all. Today we're going to talk about how to actually apply for the job. And I don't know, just a little disclaimer for anybody that's like trying to get into this space. Like, the job market sucks. It's horrible. It's terrible. I broke into tech sales back in November of 2019. And I had been applying for like 6 months. I went on several interviews, but I was being very selective at that time, right? I could have gotten a job quicker, but basically for, a 6 month period, I was applying, interviewing, and actively trying to get hired. And, there were positions during that time that I applied to that I wanted to get and didn't. I got ghosted. I put applications in and heard nothing back. Had initial conversations with recruitment managers or recruiters, heard nothing back. I got those unfortunately emails. And then of course there were other positions that offered me that I just didn't want to take. But what I'm trying to say is it was difficult, right? It took me months of applying, and this was back in 2019 before COVID, when the job market was amazing, right? Like back when unemployment was at a 50-year low. Literally, employers were scrambling to find good talent, and it was still tough. And so right now, the landscape is just very different in this post-COVID world. And so if you're going to try to break in, you have to be stubborn, okay? You have to be very stubborn, very persistent, and you got to have a process, okay? Luckily for you, you're applying to do a job. Basically, the skills you're going to need in order to do this job are the same skills you're going to have to use to get the job, right? And so you're going to get an early look at what that day-to-day is like. So real quick, I'm going to show you the system that I used back in 2019 and a few tweaks that I've made to make it even better, okay? So, if you're out there and maybe you've sent 5, 6, 7 applications, or maybe you've sent like 10 or 20, I'm here to tell you that you need to up your volume. You need to get as many applications out the door as you can. If you've got a full-time job, well, I'm sorry to tell you, if you're trying to get into tech sales, this right here is another full-time job. Okay, so you're gonna have to clock out of your day job, come home, and get ready to clock in on getting yourself into this field. So what did I do? I created this job applications tracking sheet, and I started approaching this thing really systematic. Now, back in 2019, when I was applying, I had quit my day job. So I had a bunch of money saved, and literally this was the only thing I had to focus on. So at the time, I was doing 3 to 4 applications per day. And it would take, about an hour to an hour and a half per application, because I was methodical, taking my time, making sure there's no errors on the application. I would even tweak my resume to match up to the job description. So if they were looking for people that had experience cold calling, I made sure that my bullet point said cold calling. If it said that they looked for people that were good at developing relationships, I would make sure that my bullet point said developed relationships in all of my past experience. Like my past experience, I made sure to tailor it, make sure it spoke to the job description. So anyway, that was the process. So I go and fill out an application, and when I completed it, I'd come in here and mark it down. So if I applied at Apple, I'd come in here and drop in Apple. I'd put the date that I applied, the location that I applied to. I would put the link to the website where the application was completed. I'd put the name of the role, and then of course the username and the password. So it was all put down. And actually, there's one other thing I would suggest on here that I didn't take, but that you certainly should. And that's going to be the person that you connected with, or like, if there's a recruiter. So if there's a recruiter or hiring manager, you should put their name, their contact name right here for sure. Okay. Basically, every interview, you need to look at it as an opportunity to network. So, fill out that application, and as soon as you get that email back from somebody within the company, take note of their name, and you need to just start jotting it down. You can put it here in the notes. Basically, every person that you encounter in your interaction, with this application that you put in at Apple, you need to take note of their name, and you need to like really get to know them, connect with them on LinkedIn, take note of their email, send them thank yous along the process. We'll talk more about job process, that interview process later on, but this is just the logistics. So keep track of every interview you send. If you're working a full-time job and you're serious about getting into tech sales, I would say you need to do no less than 2 applications per day, and you need to be jotting them down. So within a given month, you should be putting out about 60 applications every single day, just 1 a day, 2 a day, chipping away. Okay. Next thing I would recommend, I have another video out there about how much money you can make in tech sales, and basically I look at 2 major types of roles. Development roles and account executive roles, and I look at in the small and medium sized business segment. Okay, I would recommend going to check that video out and looking at the names of the companies on that list. And before you start sending applications, go do some initial research. So I created this sheet here where you can pretty much come in and drop the name of a company, and then start filling it out just to get a better feel for, what this company is all about. There's one thing I would add here, and that would be product. So like, what is it that they sell exactly? So you come in here, you drop the company name, you put the product, you put the city and the state of their headquarters, make that a little bit longer, and you put their number of employees. All of this data can be found online. You can put the year founded, who is the CEO, and what is the company's website. Okay, if you haven't done this for 30, 40, 50 companies, okay, and gotten familiar with the market that you're even applying to, I can tell you right now, you're not going to do good on that interview. If you're applying for cybersecurity, cloud cybersecurity, and you can't even name 10 companies in that space, how prepared for the interview are you? So take the time, fill out this sheet, get real familiar. I would say you need to be doing 3 to 5 of these per day, because this is real quick and easy. Like, I'm not saying do an entire report on each company, but like, hey, jot down the name, go figure out what it is they sell, read the quick description that they have online, on Google, on LinkedIn, find out where they're even located, how big is this organization, what year they were founded. We might want to find out, are they publicly traded or private? Okay, and who is that CEO? What's the website look like? Do they have information online, like company YouTube? Go check all that out. Spend a little bit of time. Spend 10 or 15 minutes on the website, 10 or 15 minutes on the company YouTube page, and get on to the next one. But this is really important. And then the last one on this job tracking sheet is going to be the contacts you've made. Okay, I would literally take note of every person you come across from the time that you complete that application online. Okay, you're going to be put in a process, right? A hiring process. When you hear back from an actual person, not an automated email reply, when you get a message back from an actual person, you should value that connection. Okay, try to forge a real connection out of that. Don't treat them like just the person sending you an email. Let's take extra care and attention with who they are. Okay, so contact name, John Smith, Betty Jones. Okay, company name. This is the company number 1 that we applied to. Okay, what's her role? She is human resources BP. So they called her an HR business partner. That was her role in the email that she sent. What's her phone number? Jot it down. And then what's her email? Put her email down. And I might even add on here. I might add on here the link to her LinkedIn profile. Okay, because you want to add everybody that you encounter, you want to send them a LinkedIn request. Now, they might not accept it, but you want to be sending those requests very generously. And you want to use every interview as an opportunity to grow your network. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Okay. And let's say you apply for jobs for 2 or 3 months, right? And over the course of those 2 or 3 months, you're doing the 2 a day. So you're hitting 60 applications a month. In a 2-month span, that's 120 applications you've sent. And let's say you were able to make 36, 37 new contacts. Okay, these are all people that work in recruitment, in HR, that work in sourcing talent at various companies. I can tell you that over the next 2 to 3 years, these folks are all going to work at, not all, but like a fraction of these, a third, half of these people are going to work at different companies. And you're going to have an opportunity to interview at those companies now, because it's like, hey, following up, we connected back. You're going to have the notes right here. Betty Jones. I don't know if you remember me. I know you see a lot of candidates, but we worked together back in August of 2023. You interviewed me for a job at company number 1. At the time, I was entry level, but for the last 2 years, I've actually been working at company number 2. And I see you're working at company number 3. I wanted to see, hey, are you guys hiring right now? Bam, you've got a foot in the door. You just won an interview. So put this to use. It's only as good as you make it. So, like I say, you've got to really get serious about sending those applications in. And then you've got to be methodical as those emails come back about jotting people's information down and sending that LinkedIn request. But if y'all have questions, leave them down in the comments. I can make more videos about this and I can answer anything. There's no limit here. So excited to help you guys, excited to be a part of your journey, and look forward to hearing from y'all. Talk soon.